Global success starts with killer localization management. Welcome to Localization News You Can Use, your daily dose of localization know how. Right then, let's get stuck into localization management. This isn't merely about swapping words from one language to another, it's the art and science of making sure your product truly clicks with diverse audiences across the globe. Consider it the grand conductor of your entire localization symphony, ensuring every note, from initial strategy to the final flourish of delivery, is perfectly pitched. Without a robust framework for organization, continuous oversight, and rigorous quality checks, even the most promising products can fall flat in new territories. The rewards for mastering this are quite something. We're talking about a substantial uplift in your brand's international presence, and crucially, a rather healthy boost to your bottom line. The ultimate aim is to develop a localization strategy so effective that your offering feels like it was conceived and built specifically for each local market, sidestepping those awkward and often costly lost in translation blunders. So, why is astute localization management absolutely vital for businesses with global ambitions? Well, if you're looking to expand your horizons internationally, localization simply cannot be an afterthought pushed to the end of the queue. Putting it off can seriously backfire, leaving your intended customers feeling like you don't quite get them, or worse, that you've ignored them altogether. It's often observed that major corporations investing seriously in localization tend to see a more significant rise in revenue compared to their counterparts who are a bit slower on the uptake. It also hands you a distinct advantage over competitors, as a sharp localization team can foresee potential snags and craft tailored strategies. Fundamentally, it fosters immense trust with your users. When people feel that genuine affinity with your product, they're much more inclined to stick around and become loyal advocates. It's worth remembering that whilst a considerable number of people, around 1.5 billion, speak English worldwide, that's still only roughly 20% of the global population. To assume English is the one-size-fits-all language means you're potentially turning your back on 80% of potential customers. That's a staggering 6.5 billion individuals. So much for universal appeal, eh? The trick to unlocking these considerable advantages lies in having an absolutely clear vision and a solid grasp of how to manage product localization with real finesse. This is precisely where specialized software and tools become indispensable. Bringing all your content together on one central platform saves an extraordinary amount of time and faff. Once your files are prepped for localization, the right system can automatically direct them to the relevant people. Many contemporary translation tools even incorporate an initial pass of machine translation, which considerably accelerates the workflow and trims costs, enabling human linguists to concentrate their expertise on nuanced refinement rather than starting from scratch. Beyond mere speed, quality is king. Maintaining consistent terminology across all your content is absolutely essential, and localization professionals require the proper ammunition, such as meticulously curated glossaries, to preserve that coherent voice and professional polish that truly connects with your audience. Furthermore, these platforms provide brilliant transparency regarding project status. You can effortlessly track completion rates for each language, tackle translator queries directly within the environment, and monitor team performance, including their quality assurance metrics. This joined-up methodology encourages enhanced productivity and smoother communication across all participating teams. Knowing precisely what you need, who can provide it, and having the appropriate collaborative software really are the fundamental components for localization triumph. It's also crucial to clearly differentiate between internationalization and localization, as these two terms are frequently and incorrectly used as if they mean the same thing. Internationalization is the groundwork, essentially, engineering a product so that it can be effortlessly adapted for various languages and cultural contexts. This involves creating flexible code that can accommodate, for example, different date formats, time zones, and numbering systems. Localization, conversely, is the actual hands-on process of translating the content and culturally adapting it, perhaps altering references to local personalities, public holidays, or even humor to hit the right note in a particular market. So, Internationalization is the vital prep work that comes before localization, and when executed properly, it saves a bundle of time and money further down the line. Naturally, localization management is not without its potential tripwires. Subpar communication is a perennial offender, but centralizing all stakeholders onto a unified messaging platform can often head this off. Keeping within budget is another frequent headache, which can be alleviated by clearly articulating your brand's desired tone and by performing localizability assessments at an early stage. Systemic inefficiencies can also emerge, but a well-synchronized content management system can dramatically streamline the localization pipeline. The guiding principle is that comprehensive project management, from start to finish, should be uncomplicated and centralized. Good collaborative software can genuinely rescue you from the quagmire of juggling endless spreadsheets and a patchwork of messaging applications, paving the way for a more fluid operation, boosted productivity, and notably reduced expenditure. So, what exactly are we talking about with localization management software? It's a comprehensive toolkit engineered to simplify your entire localization endeavor. These platforms typically boast features like machine translation, which leverages AI for automated content conversion, though it's always best practice for this to be polished by a professional human eye. They also integrate translation memory, a dynamic database of previously approved translations, and term bases or glossaries, which supply a controlled vocabulary for consistent language use. Critically, they offer powerful project management capabilities, enabling all parties to monitor progress, exchange comments, pose questions, and for project managers to allocate tasks while developers test the localized iterations. Selecting the right software, one that's perfectly matched to your team's unique requirements, is utterly essential to fully capitalize on the advantages of product localization. When we consider best practices, a few golden rules always apply. Firstly, ensure your internationalization efforts are thorough and effective. Architect your product with localization as a forethought from the very beginning, whether it's a website or a mobile application. This state of readiness makes the subsequent localization smoother and carves off significant time by preventing costly redesigns. Secondly, communication is absolutely key. Your team, particularly your linguists, need to have a profound understanding of your product, your brand's specific voice, where their translated content will appear, and the creative leeway they have. Arm them with query sheets and ample supporting materials so they can truly get to grips with the essence of your offering. Thirdly, deploy the correct software. The platform you opt for should simplify your entire workflow from the initial brief to final delivery, centralizing all elements and making them instantly accessible to everyone involved. Make sure roles and permissions are correctly assigned within the platform to help each individual streamline their tasks. Lastly, and this is of paramount importance, rigorously test your localized product before it goes live. Are all the formats displaying as they should? Are the hyperlinks all pointing to the right places? Catching issues early through feedback allows for prompt corrections, saving a great deal of trouble later on. A consistent focus on making the workflow efficient for everyone involved invariably results in a higher quality, localized product. We've seen some truly insightful examples of how various companies have approached localization. Coca-Cola's Share a Coke campaign, which originally launched in Sydney, became a global phenomenon, largely because their localization team grasped that the campaign's core appeal wasn't merely about names, but about fostering a sense of connection. In France, they featured common names like Marie and Jean, whereas in China, phrases such as best friend forever or classmate had greater cultural traction. The genius was in enabling the audience to find something that resonated with them on a personal level, which is rarely a one-size-fits-all affair. Monzo's 2023 UK year-end review campaign offers another superb illustration. They skillfully wove in hyper-local references, such as, "Well done, Milton Keynes. You went to Nando's more than anywhere else in the UK." To an international audience, that might seem a bit quirky, but for the target British audience, it was perfectly pitched and remarkably effective. Conversely, there are cautionary tales, like Nintendo's localization stumble with Pokémon Sun and Moon back in 2016. They released the game in Chinese, targeting the markets of mainland China, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. The oversight was that while Chinese is spoken in all three, they utilized different dialects with distinct cultural specificities. Terminology that was perfectly clear and acceptable in mainland China proved confusing or even offensive in Hong Kong. Nintendo's localization effort essentially adopted a blanket approach to Chinese, which unfortunately alienated a considerable segment of their intended audience. It serves as a potent reminder that overlooking subtle yet crucial cultural distinctions can provoke a significant negative reaction. Thank you for listening to this episode of Localization News You Can Use, your daily dose of localization know-how.